start with a prayer. Close your eyes, palms together. Seek the blessing from all your gurus, God, and goddesses. Quickly, you're done. Slowly open your eyes. Okay. Okay. Today we are going to start with the Graha Jupiter. As usual, before we are entering into that, let's see few things. Then we'll getting into the Jupiter Graha. So our objective goes like this. We'll see the daily Gocharam followed by the Dasha Buddhi Anta, which I promised to discuss last week. So we are going to discuss the TBA today, followed with the horoscope analysis for at least 5 to 10 minutes, then followed with the Jupiter Graha. Okay, that's for the agenda today. Okay, let's quickly enter into the Rashi. Today's Gocharam, Guru in the Rishabha, Mangal in the Mithuna, Ketu in the Kanya, Surya Buddhan in the Makara, Sani in the Kumbha, Chandra Chukra Rahu in the Meena Rasi. Okay. Tithi is the Chaturthi, followed by the Panjami, the very wonderful day for prayer. Nakshatra Uttra Bhadrapada, followed by the Revati. Yoga is the Shiva, Siddha, followed by the Satya. Karna is the Pishti Karna, Bhava and Balava. Weekday is Ravivara, Paksha is the Shukla Paksha. So this is about the Pancham for today. Okay, let's enter into the Dasha Buddhi. This is the very quick introduction, but we can able to understand everything at least in a very broader view. There are the different type of the Dasha in Dasha in astrology. We need to know everything about that. Mostly, most of the astrologers widely using the Vimshottari Dasha. Okay, what is that meaning? Okay, give me a second. So they considered the average lifespan of the human in this yuga, in this time and period, this kind of the dimension where we are living in, they considered the ideal lifespan is 120 years. Where you may ask whether this is the people are living up to 120 years or not. It is questionable, but don't think that way. That's considered it is an average value of the 120 years of the lifespan. So consider you were born here and this 120 years. Okay, it's really awful. This is the 120 years. So these 120 years, they every graha was occupying one way or the other. Every hours, every minute was occupied by one graha or the other. So if you see the entire year for given to one graha, and in between the 1 month, 1 week, 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute, occupied by one graha for sure. Okay. So this is on the background. It considered it as the blanket. So in this dimension, in this planet, you born here, and already the blanket is spread. And what is that blanket? This blanket is the Vimshottari Dasha. That means already the graha which is spread across. So that point in time you born. We'll come to this point again. Before that, we'll see the Vimshottari Dasha. As we already say, it was a 120 years, 120 years span. So this 120 years span, they divided in this 120 years span based on the graha only. For the Ketu, they gave the 7 years. For Venus, 20 years, Sun 6, Moon 10, Mars 7, Rahu 18, Jupiter 16, Saturn 19, Mercury 17. And here you may ask the question, why this particular years, Ketu only for 7 years, Venus only for 20 years. Why not it for spread for across 120 years? This is a wonderful question to ask, but I didn't find an answer. If you find this relevant answer, please share with everybody. Okay, now we getting into an assumption. This is already set. Okay, so we didn't have an idea about why the Ketu was only having 7 years, Venus was 20 years. This is we still have to research and find out. But one of my teacher was told me it was in the Jagannath Pura, the author of the Jagannath Pura author, he wrote one book. And in that book, he mentioned that that's what my teacher told me, but I didn't find the time to read that. So that's the point where you can find an answer about it, but I'm not started to find that answer. So this is the but right at this point in time, we had an assumption, like not an assumption, we hadn't set values like Ketu was this year, Venus was this year. Okay, this is where this 120 years of the Vimshotri Dasha was spread across to the grahas, divided into grahas. Okay, they considered, okay, this is the lifespan for the human, 120 years, and among this, this graha going to occupy this many years in your life, and this graha going to occupy this many years in your life. And they gave the number of years also. Okay, this is all. Now I come back to the previous point which I discussed earlier. Consider you born on this planet. This is the dimension of the planet. Already the blanket was spread. That is the Vimshotri Dasha, the Graha, which is already occupying and it's no more. So this point in time, imagine a situation. You born in the first year of the Ketu Dasha. Imagine this was the happiest situation. You born on the Ketu Dasha first year. Okay, currently the blanket is also starting with the Ketu Dasha. So you born on that particular in this planet, you born on the Ketu Dasha. So what is that meaning? From your born to the 7 years of your age, the Ketu Dasha will play an important role in your life. Okay, then you will move on. In I put the 7 years of the month very widely. Okay, wait a second. So this is the 7 years. So the Ketu Bhagavan plays a biggest role here. Once the Ketu Maharaj period was over, we're moving into the 20 years of his age. So at this point, this person was grew up to 7 years old. So the Ketu Dasha was finished. Then we were moving 20 years of Shukra Dasha. So at this time, this person age was 27 years old. Okay. Then we'll still move on. Then at this point, this is the 6 years of the Surya Dasha. At this time, this person age was 33 years old. Then still we move on. Then 10 years of the Chandra Dasha, that is the 43 years old. We'll move on. Then 7 years of the Tevar, Mangal Dasha, or Puja Dasha, whichever way you mentioned. So that is a 7 years, that means 50 years of age. So then we'll move on. Imagine we are assuming this person was living that many years. Okay. Then the Rahu Dasha was coming, it was 18 years. So now this person age was 68 years. Okay. Now we'll still move on. Jupiter was 16 years. Okay. Now this person age will be 84. Yes or no? I will still move on. Okay. And this is the 19 years of the Shani Dasha. This is 103, right? Yes or no? Then finally with the Buddhan Dasha. This is the Mercury for 17 years. So at this point, this guy was reaching 120 years of the age. Is this clear? This is the happiest scenario. Imagine a situation, the person is born on the Ketu Dasha, initial dates. Okay. Now imagine a situation. Now this person was not born on the Ketu Dasha. At this point in time, okay, one person was born on the middle of the Ragu Dasha. Imagine he is born on the middle of the Ragu Dasha. That means already the Ragu Dasha was going on. It's a total of 18 years. The Ragu Dasha was starting here and it is span across here. This is the 18 years of the Ragu Dasha. Okay, this is 18 years. And this person was born on the middle of the Ragu Dasha. Imagine this is at the Ragu Dasha was completed 9 years. Okay. So this is the point where the human was born. So then the first 9 years will be Ragu Dasha for this individual. Okay. Okay, then
No,
what
ma'am, you
will be
can
the
tell
next?
my example. I was born in the middle of Radhasa.
Already? Give me a second.
Aradra.
I going into the Parashara. Give me a second. The last shot I saw it with yours only. That's why I also mentioning about the Rahu.
I see.
Okay. When he was born on the 10th December. So, this 10th December means I would still go to find out. Everybody seeing the Parashara, right?
Yes.
Okay, now 65. C goes, I'm getting more. What is I'm exactly getting into that page. That's why I'm going one level further. You don't need to do that. 3 level is more than enough. Okay, if you see this, the Ragu Dasha was the starting period of his age. So if you it started on the 8/12, 1965. Okay, let's consider this one. So that's easy for us. So he born on the Ragu Dasha. So that expands his, let me reduce this. So he born at this point in time. Consider it this way. You note it here. Okay. Then we'll move further. We can still go further, but at this point in time, we'll leave it like that. You already know about that. The Ragu Dasha was 18 years. But he born on the end of the Ragu Dasha. That means the Ragu Dasha is going to finish. The Ragu Dasha will finish in the 31/12/1965. So this is the point it is going to end. He also born on the same year, few months, few days left. Is that true or not? Satish, is that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Then followed once he born on a Ragu Dasha. You may born on the one particular Dasha for 1 month also, 4 days also, 1 week also, even the starting of the Dasha also. Is that clear at this point?
Yes.
Okay. Then once he born with the Ragu Dasha, okay, what is our next thing? What is the next Dasha will be? Ragu followed by the Jupiter. So then his Jupiter Dasha was 16 years. Basically. 16 years. So from the 1965 to the 16 years of his age, imagine this is the few days only, right? Ragudasha was, even though he was born in the Ragudasha, it's only for few days. Then next 16 years, he was in the Jupiter Dasha. If you see this, this next 16 years, he was in the period of the Jupiter. That means the Jupiter Dasha was there. At the 1981, his 16 years of the Jupiter Dasha was finished. Okay, now let's come into the next one. What is the Jupiter followed by? Jupiter followed by the Shani Dasha. Shani Dasha was how long it will take? 19 years. So Shani Dasha followed by the Budan Dasha, that was 17 years. Okay, let's see that also. So Shani Dasha for 19 years. We are here, we rotate here. We are at this point 1981. Now let's move on into the Shani Dasha for 19 years. So 1981, we move on. Okay, for simplicity, I move into the Dasha Buddhi only so that the year I can scroll down very less. So at the age of the 1998, the Shani Dasha was finished. So this is the point where the Shani Dasha was finished. Then move into the Mercury Dasha. Okay, the Mercury Dasha is for how many years? 17 years. So next 17 years, his life will be on the Mercury Dasha. So presentation. It's not up to remember. Okay, never mind. That's one. 17 years of the Mercury Dasha. So 2015 Mercury Dasha was finished. Then let's move on. Okay, one Mercury in the Vimshottari Dasha, if you start from the Ketu, end with the Mercury is the last. Okay, still his years was not finished, right? Then we have to go back to the Ketu. Okay, then now the Ketu has come. Ketu for 7 years. So if you see the 2015, then the 7 years plus 7 years, well, 2024 is Ketu Dasha was finished. Now he is in the next 20 years of the Shukra Dasha. So this is that at this moment he was in the Shukra Dasha. This much clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now we'll go a little bit further. Okay, this is where we already point in time. We can go one more further also. That they again dividing this kind of a calculation into further. Then they find out, okay, this is the buddhi. The second level of the division is the second level is the buddhi. Then you can go further. That you can see the we go into Shukra Dasha first. Okay. So at this point in time, his life was in the Shukra Dasha, Shukra Buddhi, Shukra Andar. Okay. Then we will, if you move further, okay, this is again inside the Andar, again they subdivided the day. So one thing you have to note down here was earlier they went in the years kind of the division, then they further divided this years, the number of the years. Considering you are in the Ketu Dasha 7 years, then in the 7 years also they subdividing into the Dasha level. The 7 years, how your Dasha level will work. Then again they are subdividing that one. Then again they are subdividing that one. So it goes deeper and deeper. Then you will find out exact day and time and hour also. You don't need to go that much level. At this 3 level is more than enough. I would say this is even in the beginning, go for an 3 levels, that's more than enough. Because if you go further, it will really confuse you a lot. But you can understand many things. But at this point in time, 3 level is more than enough. But I can show you one thing. Okay, at this point, if you see, everything was a Venus, and it starts with 31 1 2025. Then the next one will start in the 6 to 2024. So in between these days, his Shukra Dasha, Shukra Antar, Shukra Buddhi plays the biggest role. What is that meaning again? So in this point in time, this particular Jataka, the energy level of the Shukra is highly influenced. His main energy becomes the Shukra energy. So when that particular Jataka was consuming energy from the universe, highly 90% of the energy from the Shukra Graha only. Okay. At this level is okay?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sharing the PPT again. Okay. That's about the Dasha Buddhi Antar. Still you have any questions here? Otherwise I will move on. Okay, you can ask any point in time. I move on. Okay. We do the horoscope analysis for Satish for the last week, right? We still continue because we're not yet finished. We already know Satish is the Jataka. Gender is the main, age 58, date of birth 10th December 1965, place of birth, time of birth, we already know. Then we found out Lagnam, Rashi. Lagnam is the Mithuna, Rashi also Mithuna Rashi. Dasha Buddhi Antar. Now at this point in time, this is all Venus. Because when I created this slide for last week, it was the Ketu, but now it becomes again, it becomes the Venus. Everything becomes Venus. So we already have the Kocharam chart in our hand. Birth chart, bhava chart, Kocharam chart, everything we have. The first slide we already finished. Can I quickly move on? The second stage, they followed the analysis of the stage 1 continues. We already discussed about the Lagnam and the Lagnadipati. Okay, the Lagnam and the Lagnadipati. Lagnam is the Mithuna Lagna. Lagnadipati is the Mercury, which is retrograde. So, two things you have to consider here. We already know Lagnam. Lagnam is the Mithuna Lagna. Lagnadipati, Buddha. First, you understand that how it will be. Then followed by which are the grahas present in it. So you may ask, which one I have to give preference? Give preference to the graha present in it, then followed by Lagnam and Lagnadipati. So here if you see Moon under Jupiter, Jupiter is retrograde. If Jupiter retrograde means where the person who acquired the wisdom, he was like a thirst of wisdom. I want to understand more. Even if you give me the 1,000 millions of the knowledge to him, it won't be enough for him. That too, the Lagnadipati was Buddhan is also retrograde. So his intelligent level is really high. But even then, he feel that karma, the Mercury is for an intelligence. Mercury is for any kind of the maths related stuff. He will be really good. But even then, he feels that something it will not sufficient enough. It put you into that situation. Whatever effort I put, I feel you may not content. You may not feel satisfied. Okay. Consider a situation in average of the 100 people. You scaled about 1 to 10. You are very good, near to the 9. But in your heart, you feel that you are only 5. That kind of the thirst, that kind of the belief system you will. Anybody want to say about this Lagnam and Lagnadipati, and the moon is also here? Anybody want to share anything? Impulsive, aggressive, because it was in the Lagna itself. The moon is the relevant to the mind because you are and is also speed graha. Among all the navagrahas, who is very speed? The speed is the moon only. And it's related with the mind level, your emotional level. So when that kind of energy graha was present in the Lagnam itself, the person can be beautiful, but he may be sometimes very much impulsive, aggressive in nature. But how it will be pacified? But the Jupiter is also sitting. Jupiter feels that even it was retrograde, and it feels that okay, I'm good. Even though I'm impulsive, I will be exhibit that character in one way or the another. But I still have the controlling strings in my hand. Okay,
Vanita, in the last week, we just touched upon the bhava chalit where retrograde Jupiter is in the 12th house. So you mentioned we will discuss it this week. Yeah.
Okay, this one I will tell you. See, what we are understanding from the bhava chalit was how that graha influenced in this bhava or not. For example, here the Jupiter was in the Rashi chart. Most of the time you have to not most of the time, all the time you have to consider Rashi chart only. But why we need to see the bhava chart? How the graha in placed in the bhava. So the 1 to 12, the 1 to 12 Rashis, how the graha was exactly placed. So at this point in time, when you see the bhava chalit, Jupiter was in the 12th position. So that means the influence of the Jupiter in the Lagnam will be little bit retrograde Jupiter will be little bit reduced. Okay, we'll check with him right away. There are the few characters we will mention. If that was matches with him, then it will the retrograde Jupiter was in the 12th house. So the few things was he had a tendency to teach. So that means even if you are in the Bhav Shalit means Bhav Shalit, the retrograde Jupiter was there. That okay, I will tell you in this way. As per your Rasi chart calculation, Jupiter was here. But Bhav Charit was saying, no, the Graha was in the 12th Bhava. That means the calculation the Bhav Charit was doing based on the moon. It's saying you the graha which is in the lagna, it was not in the lagna bhava, it was in the 12th bhava. Most of the time when I see chart like this, they exhibit both the characters. They do the Jupiter retrograde Jupiter in the lagna itself, retrograde Jupiter in the 12th position itself. But don't consider the aspect here. Remember, you should not see the Bhavashalit for aspecting. No to that. Okay. If you want to see why we need to see the Bhavashalit again, which graha was placed in which bhava, that influenced most. Okay, now we have to consider the Jupiter was in the Lagna in the Rashi, but in the Bhavashalit it was in the 12th house. So we have to check with him the characteristic of the retrograde Jupiter. Is that reflecting the mostly reflecting here or in the 12th bhava? Most of the time when I see when I see few charts like this, it reflecting both. The 12th bhava also, retrograde Jupiter will do the job, but the retrograde Jupiter will do the Lagnam also. But then you will ask the question, then I have to consider the combination of the Rahu and the Jupiter combination? No, do that. Okay? No, you should not take like that. But when you do the interpretation, keep that in mind. The Bhav Shalit was showing that Graha was also present in the 12th Bhav.
Take for instance, if ascendant had moved in Bhava Chalit, like for instance, ascendant moved, in this case, ascendant is here, right, in Mithuna. What if it had moved to Rishabha?
In the Bhav Shalit?
Yeah.
Okay. In that situation, right? Okay, the Bhavachalit is nothing but how they had this calculation of creating the Bhavachalit. They say, this is the Bhava for one, and this is the point, and this is the point I calculated. So this becomes
Kanda, bye.
In this particular limit, if any graha was present, they placed into here or they placed into this Bhava. But if you say that when in the Bhavashalit also, instead of the Jupiter, if you place the moon here. So
The
when you
ascendant would never move, is it?
no ascendant don't
Bhavachalit is actually based on ascendant
you are
only.
saying
That is the starting point. Bhavasphota is
Oh,
the
okay. So then the chart should be wrong. I saw a printed chart where in Bhava the ascendant was in a different house. Maybe that's wrong.
cannot be. It is wrong.
Okay, got it.
Ascendant is always first house.
Yeah.
this won't change. I didn't ever see this.
Okay.
But the graha will move. What is the meaning of the graha will move? Because the calculation they mentioned, okay, this is the bhava which is extended. In this particular range, the graha was present, but in the Rasi chart, we considered as the 0 to 30 degree, 0 to 30 degree. But in the calculation of the Bhavashali, it's a little bit different. So when in this particular range, the graha was present, they placed into that bhava only. So that is why the visual representation was different. But why we are trying to see this? We are trying to see this in which bhava the graha influence was there or not. Okay, once you find out, keep that in mind only. Try not to include that in your aspect or the graha conjunction, graha combination. Don't do that. So the one thing you have to remember is, okay, this retrograde Jupiter was in the Lagna, but in the Bhavashalit it is also in the 12th house. So when you are expressing, you are analyzing to him, you have to keep that in mind. The retrograde Jupiter is also in the 12th house. So this is also you have to find out your trial and error. Most of the time, I had an assumption like, okay, the retrograde Jupiter will do the both works. 50% of the time it's worked for me. 50% of the time they tell me, literally they tell me, okay, the retrograde, whatever the characteristic we set for the Jupiter, it won't work for me. It's exactly in the 12th house. But sometimes it's a 50-50. It depends. So you have to check with him. Use your trial and error and find out, okay, sometimes based on your experience, you maybe find out very quickly in the later times. But at this point in time, ask him directly whether this one is correct or not. Okay? let's ask him a few questions to him.
Yeah. Okay.
As a person you are, when you are having a wisdom of thirst, you feel like you know everything. Is that yes or no? You feel like I know everything. The person in front of me didn't have an idea. Any point in time you think like
No,
that?
no, I am not thought like that.
Okay. And how about your inquiring about the questions in your mind? Like, this is the question in my mind, and no matter what, I have to find out an answer. How much this kind of the thirsty will be?
That is very much there. If I have something in my mind, I have to get it resolved, or rather, I have to get the information on that. I always go after that.
Okay. And mostly it looks like his retrograde Jupiter works in his Lagna. When he comes into the 12th bhava, we'll check with him again regarding with the 12th house Jupiter also. Okay, we'll definitely, this is the wonderful chart to analyze and understand. At this point in time, keep that in mind. His chart was having an, the retrograde Jupiter was here also in the Bhava here, 12th Bhava also. Keep that in mind. Don't worry about too much. We'll come into the conclusion later. Okay. At this much clear?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Now we're moving into the second point. Okay, Kendra under Trikona. This is easy. We already know about it. Okay, this is his first house. What are the other houses? What are the other houses for Kendra?
159.
That is Trikona. I'm
Oh,
asking
sorry,
you
14710.
1, 4, 7, 10. Correct?
Yes.
For the corner rasis, it will be easy. How it will be easy? You can easily find out. Mithuna is his Lagna. Then the Kendra houses is again the corner houses only. So that is the Kanya, Danu, and the Meena. So that will be easy for you to find out for the Mithuna, any corner rasi or Mithuna, Kanya, Danu, and the Meena, the Kendra will be easy. Just go and point out the corners. That's it. Okay. Now the Trikona, it is the 5. We change this. It is 5. Again, it is the Trikona 1 also. Again, it is a round. 1, 5, 9. Okay. Once you find out the Kendra and the Trikona, what are the things you have to be keep that in mind? Is this Jataka was having the Graha in the Kendra or no? Let's find out. In the Lagna itself, he have the Graha in it, Moon and the Jupiter. Then move on to the 4th house, no Graha. 7th house, yes, Mars. 8, 9, leave that 10, no Grahas in it. So that means in his Kendra houses, 1 and 7 occupying to the Grahas in the 1 and the 7. Is that the good one or bad one? It is very much good. If the person was having the Grahas in the Kendra, that is very much auspicious. Let's move on into the Trikona. 159. One is the Lagna again, Graha placed in it. Yes. Then move into the 5, there was no Graha, and the 9, Saturn was placed in. Okay. At this point in time, this is very much enough. Okay. We understand Kendra 1 and 7 only having Graha, that is Mars in the 7th house. Then the 159, Lagna was having the moon Jupiter, retrograde Jupiter. 5 no Graha, 9 is only Saturn. This much about the Kendra and Trikona, more than enough. Let's move forward to the next point. We have to find out the Yoga Karaka. Okay, anybody remember what is Yoga Karaka?
So the Kendra and Trikona relation.
The Lord who's also a Kendra, who's also for the Trikona. That becomes a Yoga Karaka. For the Mithuna Rasi, if the Yoga Karaka there is no Yoga Karaka. Okay, that's why I said for the Mithuna Rasi, there was no Yoga Karaka. So we'll move on into next to Bhatakasthana. Anybody remember the Bhatakasthana?
Yeah, it is like 11, 9, and 7, right?
Correct. But which is 11, which is 9, which is 7?
11 is for movable. Dual. Sorry.
For dual, it is
Let's-
7.
Sorry,
Let's
yeah,
go.
that's what I missed the order. Yeah.
Charasthira Upayam, Charasthira Upayam, Charasthira
Yes,
Upayam,
yeah.
Charasthira Upayam. So this is the Upaya Rashi. That is a dual in nature. So his Lagna is in the dual in nature. So that means which is the Bhatakasthana will come?
7.
All the corner Rashis will have again the corner house. So that's why I make it as name to mark. This becomes the Bhatakasthana for him. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move into the Grahas combination. Okay. We'll finish with this. Then we'll move into the Jupiter. When you find about the Grahas combination, before Grahas combination, I have to place the aspect first. Okay, let's go with this flow. When you see the chart, go with the I said, which is having the clearly Grahas clear combination in the chart. Where the other combination, the aspect will come, that will go with the later. So the first Graha combination is the Moon and the retrograde Jupiter. The second is the retrograde Mercury, Sun and the Ketu. So these two we already know it. When you see the chart, you can already understand this one itself. Okay. Mainly keep that in mind that this Jataka having the combination of Moon Jupiter, and again this one is having the combination of Mercury, Ketu, and the Sun. Then you may have the question, okay, you need to consider the owner of the house. Yes, you have to consider the owner of the house, but little bit later. Once you find out the grahas which is present in it, that combination, then we will move further the owner of the house, whether it is a friendly enemy or the neutral, how it is going to behave with this grahas or. So at this point in time, try not to go with the analysis, just go with the vision point. When you see the Jatakam, okay, I found out there are the two combination was present. One is the Moon and retrograde Jupiter, and another is the retrograde Mercury, Ketu, and the Sun. Keep that in mind. Okay. Then, importantly, this one is very much important. So we already know when you see the birth chart, look into the chart which is having the Moon Graha present in. So when you see this chart, this Lagna was having the two Grahas in it. And beyond that, there are the more grahas present in his sixth house. Okay, this is important. So whenever we have to see, most of the time, this first house and the sixth house plays the biggest role in his life. So that we will find out later. So at this point in time, we found out the two important graha combination and also the most of the grahas present in the sixth house. So we'll move a little bit further. Okay, the four from here will continue from the next week. Okay, from the aspect. Okay, from the aspect, again we found out the grahas combination. We have to keep that in mind as well. Then you will ask me, Vanita, you ask me to keep that in mind all the time and how I can do that. Initially, when you are doing the horoscope, make a note of it. If the tiresome work, I totally understand that it consumes your energy as well. But that helps you a lot. Where when you spread out all your analysis in front of you, you can easily pinpoint which is what is going on in that person's life. Okay? At the initial state, it is really more work in your writing all your points, but that's really worth it. Okay, now we'll enter into today's class quickly. Okay, today we are going to discuss about the Jupiter. Jupiter is another name is the Guru and Brihaspati. I already told about the story about the Brihaspati, so I skipped the story. Guru is also called a Brihaspati. Guru also called as the Brihaspati. So when you see the names, two names in the books, don't get confused. Mostly, the Jupiter is the representation of the wisdom and the bigger money. When you see the smallest money, a small money in your hand is the Chukra. But when you have the very big money, the large amount of the money or the large amount of the gold represented by the Jupiter only. Your wisdom, your mindset of the justice or towards the judgment, goes to the Jupiter. All kind of the religious practice, not even you don't need to skip anything. All kind of the religious practice, spirituality, ethics, and these peoples are very much towards the ethics. They don't want to be skip one bit out of the line. They are very much followed. These peoples are the role model of the ethics itself, and they are having the widely world knowledge. And you may ask them, why are you learning this? But this is their inbuilt quality for them. They have a wonderful knowledge. And the expansion is okay. The expansion is the good for in one way, good, not good for in another way. How? If it was mentioning for the money, the expansion is good. When the Mercury was here and it was look at your Dhanabhava, definitely it will expand your money. Wherever it looks, it expands that power. But consider it was in looking at the Roga Bhava, it expands your disease itself. So when you see the patient's Jadagam, particularly for the cancer patients, if the Jupiter was respecting the Roga Sthana, most of the time the cancer was expanding itself by very low, in a very extreme speed. That you can easily see that. But initially, at this initial stage, don't get into see the very complicated horoscope in the beginning. Go with the very simplest horoscope first. So the expansion is good and bad. Okay. In the organ, it was representing the liver, and the dhatu, it was the fat. Most of the time, if you have the Jupiter in the 4, 5, and the 9, these people are fat and overweight, the obesity will come no matter what. Okay. Even if you have the Jupiter in the Lagna, the people will little bit not, you can't say overweight, you can't say obesity, but these people not look like a slim person. Okay.
Any way to control that?
Food.
The overweight problem. If this is being the position, how do we control it?
Exactly.
Watch it. Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to say. When you see the Jupiter in the 4, 5, and 9 considered as a division, you go with the kids level. Consider the kid Jadakam was in your hand. You have to explain to that person, telling this kid having a chances for becoming overweight and obesity. So please make control in your food. Take the diet very seriously. Very seriously means very seriously. You can't compromise on your food. Even if you're drinking a water, don't take any preservative items. When you see the 4, 5, 9 Guru, you are really restricted to take any preservative items, particularly the 10 items that go against you, and no move to the fast foods. So you have to tell them when you see this, okay, this is the higher chances you may get into the overweight or obesity. Do that from the initial stage. So that's why you keep your health keep your health in check. Okay, consider a situation. This person was beyond the teenage and enter into the adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
That moment also ask him to do the more exercise, kind of which can reduce his weight, concentrate on his food. So any point in time, the food they have to be very strict in their diet. There is no compromise on the food diet. So if they maintain about the food diet and their regular exercise, this will be highly controlled in the Jataka's hand.
Vanita, I'm a living example of it. Ninth house Jupiter. So I have always been overweight in all my life. So no matter of how much of exercise or dieting, I tend to look overweight.
Okay, this was one thing I have to tell you. When I see the first house Jupiter, I will tell you about me also. The Jupiter energy inside you won't reduce your weight drastically. Okay, in other words, I will go one level deeper. You heard about these lean muscles when you practice for intense training. The trainer will tell you, okay, take protein, you will develop the lean muscles, then that will reduce your weight and increase the muscle strength and this, that, and all. But for the people who having this combination, the lean muscles development was little bit take prolonged time. Even though they work hard, they do this all kind of the exercise regime for regularly, but the lean tissues won't develop that much quickly. They have to put all their energy into it. But for them, I always love to say this: don't worry, maintain exercise all the time. Even if you look overweight, don't mind about it, because that's a Jupiter's energy. As long as you keep the Jupiter energy in check, you're good. So you may think like that. Okay, I feel that I'm overweight. The exercise is not working for me. I'm going to bed. Don't do that. Do at least 20 minutes. Even if you look overweight, do the 20 minutes. Okay, that will help you. That will help you and check about your Jupiter energy. This is the energy. It expands your cells. It won't allow you to the lean muscles getting into your body. Okay. In order to increase your lean muscles, there is a different strategy altogether you have to follow to increase the heat in your body, but at the same time, you have to maintain the Jupiter energy. That was a tedious task you have to do in your body. Sometimes it is pushed against you. So mostly don't do all kind of the stuff. Okay, you may ask how you know Anita. I do all kind of the mistakes in my life, so I know this very well.
Maybe I should have a consultation with you.
So do the 20 minutes of at least 20 minutes of the exercise. That's more than enough. That will keep in check about your Jupiter energy. Okay? That's all I want to say about this overweight and obesity. We'll see that about when we go into the 4 and 5, we'll see more about that. We will see about the quickly Jupiter in very detailed view of the Jupiter. Jupiter wants two houses, Dhanush and the Meena. Okay, then his exaltation is the Karkataka. And one of my teacher is interestingly see the story about this exaltation point. Mostly this is the Guru exalted in the Guru was exalted in the Kadakarasi. That is, who's the owner? Moon is the owner. So the moon is the very good devotee of the Guru. So when you the Guru always gave his favor towards his devotees only. So that's why the Guru was exalted in the devotee's house. That is the Kadakarasi. I don't know whether it is true or not. I won't mind that because this helped me to remember. So the Guru exalted in the Kadaka Rasi. That is the 5 degree itself. And the opposite Makara Rasi, it was debilitation. Okay, then moving into the friend and the enemy. So before friend and enemy, let's see about the Mula Trikona. Again, the Dhanush Rasi, its own house, 0 to 10 degree. Gender is the male. Aspect of 5, 7, 9. Direction northeast, directional stand east. Malefic or benefit, this is the super good benefit. And Adidevata Indra, Pratyadi Devata Brahman. Elements is the Akasha. Okay, this is the one element you have to, this is the one element which is, withhold all the 4 elements. It's a total different story. We'll see that one when we find time about it. But at this point in time, remember Jupiter is the Akash Tattva. Dosha, Kapha, and the Pitta. This is the very biggest combination to resolve when if you. But same time, don't confuse this Ayurveda Kapha and Pitta with this. This Kapha Pitta little bit different when you see that later. Maturity is 16 years. So that's why the people will say, won't see the horoscope after the 16 years of age. Sometimes it works. Nowadays the people will see when the child was born itself, or they will create the horoscope. They will determine the time and birth before itself. So, but normally Jupiter maturity age is 16 years. Dhatu fat and the grains Bengal gram. Marana Karagasthana, we know that is a third house. Combustion 0 to 11 degree. But don't go this strictly in like the book, whatever it says. Go with 0 to 5 degree. If the Jupiter near to the sun, 0 to 5 degree plus or minus, consider it as the combusted. So what is the meaning of minus? Minus means retro. Okay. Let's getting into the friend and the enemy. Friend is okay. This is the easiest to remember for the Jupiter. This Mithuna and the Rishabha. These 4 are enemy. The Rishabha Rasi and the Mithuna, Kanya, Tula, Shubha. Who's the owner? Venus and the Mercury. Both are enemy. Who are the friend? Friend is the Mesha and the Kadaka and the Simha. That means Sun, Moon, and the Mars are the friend. Who's the neutral? Saturn is the neutral. Okay, let's getting into the. At this point, it looks like I'm going fast. Is that okay? Because we already
I think
learned
it's
about.
fine. I
Okay.
think it's fine.
Okay. Let's getting into the Jupiter in the first house. This is the very interesting house because I will tell you the reason later. Jupiter, the first house having a Dikbala. That means the Jupiter energy for that Jataka will be highly consumed. Mostly when what the first house will represent, first house represents exactly the person, how he or she looks like, the image on the self, how the personality will be, how they behave. Technically, physically, how the person look like. Okay, first thing, their good health, education, and the spouse. Uh, Definitely, they have the very much good in their health. They're very well educated because the lagna in the guru itself, the spouse. And particularly when the person in the Jupiter in the first house, they mostly they tend towards the teaching. They find interested in teaching. Okay, they are having the knowingly or unknowingly, these people's are magnetic personality, and some people will know about it when Jupiter in the Lagna. Some people will know that kind of the personality they have. Some people will know about it. Some people didn't have an idea about whether they have it or not. Okay. Academically sound means they study really well. Really well means at least they score 80% and above. They feel and believe knowledge is their wealth. Even they feel like they want to relax and rest, they want to read a book. If they didn't read for a week, for a month, they feel like they are lost in the world. They feel like they didn't have the path to move. That much they are dependent on the knowledge. That much they have the drive towards the knowledge. They every minute, every second, they want to move towards and run towards the knowledge. Mostly they are intellect in nature because when one person was run towards the knowledge, obviously they become intellect. How much intellect? It depends upon the person altogether and depends upon the other grahas present in the chart. Okay. They prove to be a good teacher, healer, counselor, and lawyers. Okay. The teacher, uh, they really have the tendency to teach. Otherwise, in other words, you can also see their gene is also becomes in their ancestors or in that among their generation, first generation or before that. One of the other people in their generation or their ancestors have the teaching us the one of their job. It comes in their gene itself. They teach very well. The healing is again it's an inbuilt quality for them. When they try to counsel others, they are very good in that. And if the first house Jupiter Jataka becomes a lawyer, no one can beat him. But there is one question will come. If they are succeed in that or failure in that, that's another question altogether. But you can't overcome, you can't negotiate with them. And because they put the points in front of you. They already do all the research and all the knowledge they put together. Their intellect in front of them, no one can beat. Okay, the one best Jatakam for I can remember it's mine because my Jupiter in the Lagna. Let me see whether I can pull my Jatakam. I will tell you whatever I understand myself. I can put it. Anybody having the Jupiter in the first house? Yes.
Well, Satish has it.
Satish also. Oh, Satish Jupiter was retrograde.
Yeah, but it's first house.
We'll check with him. We'll check with him first. Okay, let's see. I again go back into Parashurama. Wait. It's going into the PowerPoint. Check with Satish first. Everybody was seeing the PowerPoint, right? Yes.
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Check with him. His Lagna was here. Moon along with the retrograde Jupiter. Okay. Satish, which one is true? You having the good health, education, and the spouse? Yes. No. Satish?
Yeah, all are true.
All of true. Awesome. Then good. I'm going to count him. Let's move into mind. Okay. Everybody was seeing the Parashara, right?
No, not yet.
It's coming up.
Now it's come.
Okay. So, okay, for me also Jupiter. For me, it's Jupiter only. My Lagna Graha is only Jupiter. People who born on the 82, most of them will have this kind of the combination. Why? Because the Jupiter was 1 year Graha, so any peoples born on that particular 1 year will have this Jupiter, or but some days at least. Okay. That's about my Jatagam. Let's see about it, which one is used for me, which one is not. Okay, for me, it was Lagna and Jupiter. Obviously, good health. And if you see that, you ask me, most of the time the people will I feel like I'm overweight, but people will tell me, no, Vanitha, your look like normal. But this Jupiter energy will energy, even if you do for yoga for a number of years, it won't allow you to reduce. So then I researched something and I find out this lean muscles kind of a stuff. Then I don't go away with it, whatever it is. But then I do my practice, but that will give me a difference energy level altogether. Okay. I'm not sure about this magnetic personality and all, but I have I developed the good health. Okay, who's give that energy? The Jupiter was bringing that good energy. Education, very good. And academically sound, yes, I really studied well. But even though I studied 1 day before the exam, no matter what, I scored very well. Somewhat. That's even maybe it's a luck something. I believe this one, knowledge is the wealth. Even if you didn't have anything, and the knowledge makes you to survive for another day. I'm not sure about this intellect level. Okay, good teacher. The teacher thing, maybe it's come from my mother or not. I'm not sure about it. When I teach yoga, I found this one. Okay, this one was interesting in me. Sometimes my energy will be really lost when I teach yoga. That's why I quit that process and later I resumed that. And still now I'm doing that. But I had a capacity to maintain that energy. Some of my students will say me, okay, Vanita, you teach well, at least I can understand. That's what I understand from my students. But if you ask me to teach yoga, you can't say it's a boring lesson for me. Definitely, I teach well. Somewhat my confidence level will increase in the teaching there. I don't know why. Maybe I believe it is because of the Jupiter. A healer, yes, but this is also again my healing tendency is really good, but I won't use it frequently because I feel like my energy level was drastically reduced in one healing session itself. I'm not sure I'm a counselor, and obviously I'm not a lawyer.
Vinita, you teach very well. Not only well, very well.
Oh, really? Awesome. Thank you so much.
Monica,
Very deep.
But the
what is your profession before coming here?
software engineer.
In which domain?
Yeah. So the healing is comes. I felt like the healing is comes on inbuilt quality because I learned different kind of the healing techniques. But even then, if it was my first day of a healing, my energy level was really good, and the peoples who learned the Reiki and the pranic, they understand really very well. If you emit the energy from your hand, it flows for me very naturally. That's what I felt. That's because of the Jupiter's energy. This is the point. The Jupiter plays the biggest role. But when the Jupiter was in the Lagna, they also have one more tendency. They want to make fit and healthy body. It becomes I would say it is a tendency for them. Okay. Okay, that's about more. There's more about the Indian celebrities who's having the like Jupiter in the first house. Okay. Then it goes into the. If you find out these people's jatakam in online, find and check whether for a research purpose you can do it. But more when you look into the jatakam, it is a really time-consuming process. I would say check with the people you know very well, so you can easily understand. You don't need to spend too much of time reading about the things in the net. Okay, Jupiter in the second house. We'll finish it with this. We already know Jupiter. Okay, and all about the Jupiter's will really good because it is the one of the benefic graha. So if you see second house, third house, fourth house, you'll see all good because it was very auspicious graha. When it comes into the second house, what it is the liquid as whichever the assets which you can liquefy, the speech, family, and the nourishment. Mostly you have cash in your hand. In one word, if you want to say it, is a dhanabhav. So when when the Jupiter in the second house, that means you are wealthy and famous, no matter what. Why this becomes? Because then the Jupiter was in the second house, it increased the money flow. It increased the incoming cash flow as well. These people are really good in articulating the speech. I see the many people's we had a training in one of the area where this girl was coming from Canada and she didn't know anything about the particular speech she's going to give. But when she's tried to give an at least 10 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes of the speech, right, you literally mesmerized. I really wonder how come she didn't have an idea about that subject. How come he can able to speak that kind of a speech? The Jupiter energy will give that kind of an energy because when the Jupiter energy was sitting in your speech, that gives the articulated speech in a very good level. You can't, how would you say, you can't get bored with that people's speech. They articulate the speech very well. You not even they missed one single thing or single point that they left out. They want to say, they will say whatever they want to say, but in a very structured and organized way. Okay. Inheritance of the family business is highly possible if there is any chance if you find a people to doing their business from one generation to the another generation, check with the horoscope and see the second house Jupiter at least will be there, or at least the Jupiter aspect the second house. If you find out that kind of the horoscope, it is really good to research. Okay, then the last thing, hospitality, textile, and real estate industry is the best thing for this second house Jupiter. Anybody who's having Jupiter in the second house?
I do have Jupiter in the second house, but most of it does not match me.
We'll find out. Give me a second. Okay, let's see.
Meena Lagna.
In a Lucknow. Any graha in Lucknow?
No.
Okay. Then second house Jupiter.
Yeah.
Okay, very well. One important thing. You see this? The Lagnadipati is the Guru. The Lagnadipati was also present in the second house. Definitely his cash flow is unlimited, or at least he's having a basic.
I
Yes?
don't know that, but I don't
Yeah.
think so. But it's okay. I have what I need. I don't think accumulate.
You don't
But I
you
have
don't feel like you don't I didn't have an insufficient cash in my hand. At any point in time in your life, you feel like, okay, I'm having the money sufficiently enough for me. Is that correct? Or you feel like
there
I
are a
don't
couple of instances when I didn't have, but yes, now I have what I need. That's all I can say.
okay, then when you say that there is a couple of times you didn't have, look into your horoscope and find out which dasha buddhi you find out that kind of point.
Yeah,
And
that was probably bad.
you will
And
really find out an interesting thing about the grahas and about your life. Okay.
yeah,
How your articulation in the speech?
famous. I don't know if it is. I don't know what you mean by famous, but I think people that know me, they know me. The second one, maybe yes, it is. It may be true to some extent, the speech, but
The
I don't.
inheritance. Okay, the inheritance of the family business is an implicit one rule was in there. That means your family was already in the business for generation to generation. Then there
Yeah,
is a high possibility in the inheritance of the family business. Suppose if
yeah,
your family was not into the business, you don't need to consider this one.
yeah. I did not. Yeah, that is not very.
Okay. This one is saying it's a kind of an good area for them. If you are not working in the hospitality, that's totally fine. But textile, real estate agency, real estate industry, it's a good for them. Like they will very much familiar in that industry because the energy. You may ask the question why it was like that. Because the Jupiter energy very well placed in the hospital, textile, and the real estate agency, then these people will increase their money flow.
In hospitality, I think I know it will work for me because, but by profession, I'm a mechanical engineer. So by studies, actually. But by profession is something else. I was a network specialist, like communications specialist, but I'm retired now. But hospitality, I used to have some catering and catering business, which and it was fine, and I know it works, hospitality for me.
Okay. When this point will work, when you see the Jatakam for the teenagers, if they come and ask you, okay, can I study the textile industry? Can I enter into the hospitality studies? When you see the Jupiter in a second house, if the other grahas were in a good position, you can say, okay, go ahead and try this. If they were in adulthood and they are starting in a business stage and they come and ask you, can I start this business? But Jupiter in the second house, good. But when they say about the business, you have to ask them, is the partnership 7. Then they are going to start a own business, go and see the 10. Then the 3 and the 11. Why? If the second house, it was Jupiter in the second house representing, you can enter into this business, tick mark. But do you have the courage to start the business? Third house, if the grahas was really good, auspicious in nature, then tick mark. Then the 7th house, you have to see if you are going with a partnership. If that is also good, go with it. Then the 10th house, because you are going to start a own business, you definitely the 10th bhava have to be give the full support to you. Then go in to see the 11th house. Why? Because that is your luck, that is your full desire you have to fulfill. If that was having the good one, your outcome will be good. So when if that was for the adult one, when every stage your analysis will be different. But when you see about the kid was teenage person was coming and asked, can I study this? check the horoscope, not only the second house, the other combination as well. So if the adult was asking, can I do the business? Check the horoscope. So like that, you change your ideas, change your creativity according. So you can find your answer. Okay. Okay. Mostly the point is this is for the baseline. It was like when you see the Jupiter in the second house, this 4 points comes into your mind. That's more than enough. So you may say that Jupiter in the second house, I can't remember this all this 4 points. You can remember only one thing. This person is definitely have the good cash. That's more than enough. Then when you speak with them, you can understand the Jupiter in the second house person, how they will speak. When how they are articulating the speech, even if they are trying to insult you also, they articulate the speech in such a level, you will really admire them. That kind of the articulation will be in such person. And they will tell you the bad thing about you. Okay, most of the time I really wonder Jaishankar was having the Jupiter in the second house or not. Because he literally insulted the other person, but his diplomatic way was really too high. I mean, most of the time I think that way, Jupiter in the second house. Not sure. Yeah. If anyone finds out, tell me. That's what my understanding. Okay. That's all about today. Any questions till now? If anyone wonders who's Jaishankar, everybody knows, right?
Yeah, he has Jupiter in 9th house.
Jupiter and ninth also.
Jupiter
looks
and
like
Ketu in 9th house.
I see.
Foreign relations.
What is it?
Foreign relations.
Yeah.
9th house Jupiter and Ketu.
And I feel that it was like Jupiter in the second house. Okay.
But
Any-
ninth house only this. When you say ninth house, do you know the time of birth, exact time of birth?
No,
Of
I just Googled for it and an image
Yeah,
came up.
yeah, but many people they consider as midnight, because if people, this time of birth is kind of not a public information. Only the date of birth could be information. So
true,
this
true.
ninth house,
We have to
all
take it with
those
a pinch
things
of
are
salt. Yeah.
correct. Yeah, I mean, because whatever they have given, it's probably based on midnight on that day as the lagna. So
Awesome. Okay, if you don't have any questions, shall we end the session?
yes,
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you
you
so
very
much.
much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you, Vanita.
Thank
Very
you,
interesting class.
Vanita.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Vanita.
Thanks.
Thank you.